I'd like to call the meeting to order. I'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Khan.
Here.
Trustee Minks.
Here.
Trustee Sheba is absent with notice. Trustee Thill.
Here.
Trustee Travis.
Here.
Trustee White.
Here.
Okay, can I get an approval of the meeting minutes from November 25th, 2025?
I'll make the motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of November 25th, 2025.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Mink, seconded by trustee Thill. Any questions, comments, corrections? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Special reports, there are none. Public hearings, there are none. And there are some updates on our Plan Commission reports, and Brandon Nolan will be presenting.
Good evening, Mayor and trustees. I have a report for 4 different Plan Commission cases. Bear with me as they're a couple a little longer than usual. In the case of PC 25-04, the village is requesting various text amendments to the Unified Development Code to provide guidance for the installation of solar energy collection systems. This is similar to a previous draft that was presented to the board, accepting that we're now going to permit selling power back to the grid as proposed through via a special use. Decommissioning requirements have been established, and wind turbines are going to be prohibited across all districts and be removed from the draft language. Plan Commission voted unanimously 5-0 to approve the text amendments on November 18th. I also have 2 related cases, PC 25-07 and 25-08. Those cases are being presented for the little over 2 acres of village-owned property across Lehigh Avenue from the Metro Station. In the case of 25-07, 8500 MG LLC, who's here tonight, is requesting approval of plans for a 4-story, 60-unit mixed-use development under applications for special use permit and subdivision for the property commonly known as 8500 to 8550 Lehigh Avenue. The project includes a little over 4,000 square feet of commercial space on the ground floor with an outdoor plaza/cafe on the north end of the building. The Plan Commission voted unanimously 6-0 to approve the preliminary plat of subdivision and special use permit on September 16th, 2025. I would like to note that following approval by the Plan Commission, but in response to a plat vacation, which is case PC 25-08, we did receive some comments from the Morton House condominiums. They're here tonight to speak, but we have coordinated with B3, the development team, and they've indicated they'd be willing to make some accommodations to those comments, and they'll be happy to speak to those after we hear public comment. In the case of PC 25-08, the related case, 8500 MG LLC is again the applicant along with the Loyal Order of the Moose, number 376. They're requesting approval of a vacation of the 0.531 acre portion of Chestnut Street that's required to be for the development as proposed under PC 25-07 to move forward. The Plan Commission voted unanimously 5-0 to approve that platification on November 18th. I do need to note, as required by our code, that in evaluating the vacation request, the village administrator and staff find that the proposed vacation will benefit the public interest by optimizing the project site footprint to support a walkable and vibrant mixed-use development under PC 25-07, and that easements should be retained for the maintenance of public utilities and vehicular and pedestrian access. It is also recommended that each owner take title of the center line of the right-of-way, and appropriate compensation of the property will be determined by the village as part of a forthcoming redevelopment agreement. And lastly, in the case of PC 25-012, applicant DLA Architects on behalf of Gulf School District 67 is requesting a special use permit to allow expansion and modification of existing school, Hines Elementary, at 9000 Belfort Avenue. The school expansion would include the addition of a new administrative office as well as a new media center in the portion of the school that's currently an interior courtyard. A pair of classrooms currently housed in a temporary structure would also be demolished as part of the proposal, and the parking lot would be reconfigured. I would like to note that in reviewing the case, the number of trees proposed for the interior parking lot fell short of village requirements. The Plan Commission voted unanimously 5-0 to approve the special use permit on November 18th with the condition that 12 trees be planted elsewhere at the property or at another property in the village. That concludes my report. Any questions? I'm happy to answer.
Thank you. Thank you, Brandon. Any questions at this time?
Are we going to vote on this tonight?
These are first reads.
First read.
Okay. Well, my question is, the 12 trees, have they made any decision what they're going to do with them?
The ordinance restructured so that they'd have some flexibility to work with the village administrator and staff to determine the final location.
I trust that they're going to come and make their final decision before anything happens on the property.
Correct. A revised landscape plan or a plan to install them elsewhere would be required before building permit would be issued.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all.
Thank you. Anybody else? Resident comments on agenda items only. I have some on the agenda. I do want to say that I have two here that aren't for agenda items, so I'm going to ask Lisa and Jeremy, is it okay if I move you to after, to where it's, thank you, sir. And Lisa, you're good with that? Oh. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you're good. You're first. Okay, no problem. That's okay. All right, how about June Meyer? Pardon?
Yes.
Hello, I'm June Meir. I live in the Morton House condominiums, just right next to the development. And I submitted written comments, which I believe y'all have the formal version. It's long, I don't want to read all that. I'll just hit the highlights, because I understand the development team has already seen my full comments. So I say we, I'm on the board. This is not the board of the condominiums speaking, it's me. I will say other residents support this. I circulated the comments to other people, people who aren't here tonight mainly because of mobility and the stairs. So, sort of a group, but not officially the board. So we have three concerns about the development. The first one is security, because the property backs up directly to the back of the condos. And there is currently a concrete wall that covers maybe 80% of the adjacent boundary. We want a solid wall to remain there. I don't care if it's that wall or a different wall, but not a fence, a wall, to keep out noise, trash, other things like that. We also are interested in having that wall extended. My concern is that people who are living in the new apartments, which I am all in favor of, just let me get that out of the way. But people who live there, it's a very easy cut through to come through our property to go to the forest preserve. That hasn't been a problem in the past because the only people that parked there were going to the metro, which is the other way. But when people live there, they want to go to the forest, it's a logical place to walk. We don't really want that. So instead of causing a problem later, we're just thinking design it so that that doesn't ever happen. Second issue is lighting. I haven't read your plan. I don't know what you're proposing for lighting, but it is of concern to us that there not be all-night floodlights in that parking lot that are going to disturb the people who live right behind. And the third one is the vegetation planned. At the condominiums, we have been working hard to establish native plant landscaping. We've worked on it for 2 years, and we are continuing to replace non-natives with native plants. And we would very much love to have this new development support that and not plant things that are invasive that then me, I'm the landscaping coordinator, that I then have to go fight as they come onto our property. So I'm hoping y'all are in tune with the native plant initiative that Morton Grove has, and also that's sweeping the country, and that we can cooperate on making sure you don't plant things that are going to cause trouble. I've outlined this in much more formal language for the village, and I'm happy to answer any questions about details. Thank you for allowing me the time.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you.
Christine Corelli?
Good evening. Most of you already know me. For those of you who don't, I'm Christine Corelli, and I'm here to represent Morton House Condominium Association. I'm the building maintenance manager, and my main concern is, again, the wall that we already have behind our building that the Metro and the village put up, right? That it be maintained or extended and not have a fence, as Dr. Muir said. And so I encourage you to try to accommodate us with that, because it doesn't make any sense to me. You have a beautiful, long brick wall. It doesn't make any sense to knock it down and put a fence there. I mean, you know, it's by the Metro. It's been there for years, and it's in good condition. I checked the tuck pointing, et cetera, and the mortar, and it's all very solid. So, again, thank you for the hard work you do. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present. I'm very excited about the development, but I'll be excited and happy if I hear that you're going to extend the brick wall, make it a little longer, or find some kind of solution for that. The one thing that was not mentioned is I think it could be dangerous if people come onto our property, because we're still taking care of an erosion situation. And there's, you know, it goes down like that, and we're fixing it little by little, and people could get hurt. So, good evening, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa?
Hi, I came here tonight with an open mind, did not write anything, but I have a few thoughts. First, I want to say thank you, because I know you are listening to us, and I know you are taking steps to increase our safety in our village. And as Whitcomb knows, I am constantly sending her information because I want her to know what's going on in other areas. As in Elgin, the mayor stepping up and saying it is not okay what ICE is doing in our village. As in Minneapolis, the chief of police saying, when you see masked, armed people kidnapping people, call 911, because we're not going to allow that to happen. Because they have no ID, and they have weapons, and they're brutally grabbing people and tearing them apart. I am happy that you're going to put up signage, but it doesn't go far enough. And the reason why I say this, and yes, I know I've heard everyone say there is limits to what we can do, but here's what's happening. February 2nd starts early voting. Guess what else is happening this spring? They're sending 1,000 or more armed, brutal agents back to our village. What are we going to do to prepare for that? Most of you come in and vote with me early voting over at the Morton Grove Civic Center. You know I'm there. I've seen so much. I've had all sorts of things happen. There should be no reason why we cannot have our police department ready and prepared, just like what they're doing in Evanston, when there are people with no IDs, wearing masks, carrying weapons, deploying tear gas, spraying pepper spray in people's eyes. I know you all care. I know a lot of you personally. I've had good conversations with you. Don't feel like you are limited by what you can do when they're not playing by the rules. They are violating rights every day. you got to stand up for all of us. We're depending on you, and I believe in you. I really do. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. I do want to make a point of clarification, just because that wasn't an agenda item. It was appropriate for
Signage.
the end.
Signage.
That's not on the agenda.
It's in there about the signage you're putting up. Okay, my bad.
That's
Sorry.
okay. That's okay. I don't want to stop you in the middle, but I do want to set the stage for anybody else that if it's not on the agenda, it will be at the end of the meeting. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay, I did see something about signage on there,
Okay.
so my mistake. Thank you.
No, okay. Thank you, Lisa. Maybe it was an old agenda. No? Okay. Chuck, will you check that agenda? Okay, those are all after. Okay, that is it for anything that's on the agenda. So President's Report. I have a proclamation, and I know that Niles Township Trustee Mazar Khan is in the audience as part of this, so I just want to proclaim Food Pantry Month. Whereas the Niles Township Food Pantry initially started out in the basement of the Niles Township Building at 5255 Lincoln in Skokie with a shelf containing some canned goods, just in case someone was in need. It then grew to the back room of the township's building with one full-time employee. And whereas in 2009, Niles Township reestablished the food pantry in their annex building at 8341 Lockwood, the former site of a daycare facility, and whereas in 2024, the food pantry served more than 72,800 individuals and some 3,300 separate households, more than 8% of total households in Niles Township, as many families rely on the pantry on a regular basis. In 2024, the pantry distributed nearly 1.4 million pounds of food, where about half of all households in the coverage area use food stamps, and whereas there continues to be a profound demand for emergency food due to multiple factors, and the demand to operate food banks like the Niles Township Food Pantry is more critical than ever, and whereas the pantry continues to provide meaningful volunteer service and in-pantry shopping to those who are food insecure, and whereas the food pantry is run and supported by the Niles Township government, and whereas food and other services provided to food pantry clients are paid for out of the Niles Township Food Pantry Foundation, a 501c3 charitable operation, now therefore I, Janine Whitco, Mayor of the Village of Morton Grove, do hereby proclaim the month of December 2025 as Niles Township Food Pantry Awareness Month in the Village of Morton Grove, and urge all residents to support the efforts of the Niles Township Food Pantry Foundation by making a monetary donation to the Food Pantry Holiday Gift Card Drive, and by donating wherever possible toiletry items and non-perishable food goods. I would also like to give this proclamation to Mazar, and I will call on Trustee Travis for an update as well.
I just wanted to mention that this week the township is especially low on toiletries, baby diapers, wipes, and baby food. So these items help our Niles Township neighbors meet their most basic needs, and they go quickly. So if you can help pick up an extra item on your next trip and drop it at the pantry, it would be appreciated. Every donation keeps their shelves steady and our community supported. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and the Board of Trustees for the proclamation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you guys do. Okay. So board and commission chair and vice chair appointments for the calendar year 2026. Included in the packet are a listing of my appointments for board and commission chairs for the calendar year 2026. No action is needed, and these appointments will continue through the calendar year. The 2026 Village Board meeting dates, also included in our package, are the meeting dates for 2026, which are the second and fourth Tuesday of the month, and no action is needed. These will be posted on the website going forward, as well as the 2026 Village Commission meeting dates. We're presenting the meeting dates and can confirm that these dates will also be on our website going forward. And lastly, the trustee liaison assignments for calendar 2026. Each trustee is assigned a commission they are a liaison to. They attend the meetings. They come back and report things, or if someone has a question during this meeting when we're voting on something, they can be a resource for more information as well. So in addition to their normal roles with the village, they serve as liaisons and to the commissions, departments, and partner governments. And I'm asking that we continue the same assignments from this year through 2026, with the addition of Trustee White being assigned to the new proposed Dempster Street TIF. So that is all for us. Let's see. You want to do the senior program as part of yours? Sure. Okay, so clerk's report.
Thank you, Your
Oh,
Honor.
you know what? I did see, I'm going to have you do senior program, but I'm going to do some, sorry. I'm going to move on, couple more reports, sorry. We're trading assignments up here. Just about snow plowing. Over the last several weeks, the village has experienced several snowstorms. To date, we've witnessed over 17 inches of snow this season, including 6.7 inches of snow in December already. As always, our Public Works has risen to the occasion and have worked all hours of the day and night and in inclement conditions to clear our streets and keep the community safe. We thank you to our Public Works staff for all of their work so far. Our whole community thanks you. Where's Mike? There's Mike. Thank you. Snow shoveling and lawn care. The village operates a program to connect young adults with neighbors to provide shoveling assistance. We're looking for high school-age students to participate in the program and earn some money helping their neighbors. To learn more, please visit the village's snow shoveling and lawn care program webpage on our website. And lastly, we are anticipating that next Monday, December 15th, the village's new metro station will be complete and open to the public. We're still finalizing the station, but are excited to announce that it will be open for commuters starting next week. Following the new station's opening, we will begin the process of demolishing our old station. Commuters should visit the village's website to stay up to date on any changes and impacts due to the building demolition. Now it is time for the clerk's report.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village is proud to provide services for our seniors. Two great programs that have been happening to date are the Senior Rideshare Program and the blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar screening. The Morton Grove Senior Rideshare Program offers free Lyft rides to qualified residents who are at least 65 years old. Scheduled rides are provided to grocery stores, pharmacies, and medical appointments within Morton Grove. Rides are also available to medical appointments at most area hospitals and medical buildings. To learn more or to participate, please contact our village social worker, Liz Shield, at 847-663-3070. And the village also provides the free blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar screening every Wednesday from 9 to 12 p.m. at the Civic Center at 6140 Dempster Street, and there's no appointment necessary. And that's the end of my report, Your Honor.
Thank you. Staff report, village administrator.
Yes, I have a few items for the mayor and board. The first item is ordinance 2538, which is amending Title I, Chapter 11, Section 4, entitled Fees for Specific Permits, Licenses, Certificates, and Services of the Municipal Code of the Village of Morton Grove to update the ambulance transport fees. I did not read the legislative summary last time, so I will read it tonight. The Ground Emergency Medical Transportation GMNT program is a federally funded Medicaid program that allows communities to be reimbursed for providing ambulance transportation services. GEMT has increased its ambulance transportation rate to $27.10, and this ordinance will increase the fees for ambulance transportation services in the amount of $2,500 to account for the current reimbursement rate provided by this program and to make the village whole for costs associated with the service of providing ambulance transport for our residents and other residents. And so this is presented for a second reading and will be included as part of our fees as part of the 2026 budget. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
I have a question. The question being, that is not the price that we charge our residents, am I correct? That is non-residents.
That is for residents and non-residents.
Are residents paid the same as non-residents?
That is correct.
That doesn't seem right.
It's actually, so I'll have the chief come speak to that because that was the same question I had. And that used to be a trend, but I believe most communities have moved towards similar pay, and I'll have the.
Well, it's good for the public to hear this.
Absolutely.
So the GEMT rate is a calculated rate that we work with Medicare and the federal government for, and it's been determined that on average, it costs us as a village $2,710 to transport somebody to the hospital.
Resident or non-resident, the same?
All the same.
Okay.
The difference is for a non-resident, they are billed the $2,500 that we're asking for it to be raised to. A resident's billed the exact same. We only accept from a resident what an insurance would pay or whatever. We do not ask for anything out of pocket.
Okay,
So
okay.
Medicare will pay, they don't even, by the time it's done, we don't see the entire 2,500, but we see close to it. Whereas we don't ask for anything additional from the resident. So it's strictly, it's a number so that we can get the insurance to pay more of it, but it's not full payment.
Is what's happening in Washington, is that going to make a difference?
Anything is possible. I do not have that answer right now with anything going on there.
But we're locked into these prices that we're talking about right now.
Right now, this is just how it's calculated of what it costs us. And I don't think there's any changes to Medicare. We just re-upped. The 2710 is actually what it costs us in 2024. So it's figured a year behind in what the cost is. So in another year or two, we'll figure out what it's costing us right now. But between, it calculates everything, the entire cost of running the fire department as far as the ambulance is concerned. It does not take into account any firefighter or anything. This is just simply what the staffing, the equipment, the transportation, the supplies, and all the cost is for an average ambulance transport.
Every time you do a run, you sterilize the ambulance again, am I correct?
We disinfect it every single time.
Is that something that the people don't know that? They think it's from point A to point B and that's it.
There's more work than you think going into just transporting a simple person to the hospital.
Well, I'm glad you told the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And John, are you clear or satisfied with the difference with the insurance part for village residents?
Not really, but it's a cost that has to be borne.
But do you understand how we're not going to charge over what their insurance pays?
That is, yes, it's
Okay.
not out of pocket for people.
It is absolutely no money
Out
out
of
of pocket
pocket.
for a village resident.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2538 as presented.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Mink, seconded by trustee Khan. Any questions, comments? Please call the vote.
Trustee Khan.
Aye.
Trustee Minks.
Aye.
Trustee Phil.
Aye.
Trustee Travis.
Aye.
Trustee White.
Aye.
Ordinance 25-38 passes 5-0, Your Honor.
Thank you.
My next item is Resolution 2581, which is authorizing a professional services agreement with E.O. Sullivan LLC of Libertyville, Illinois, for lobbying services on behalf of the Village of Morton Grove. Earlier this year, the village issued a request for proposals for lobbying services. The village received 3 timely responses to the RFP. E.O. Sullivan LLC presented a comprehensive plan to address the village's needs for developing a lobbying program for the new police department in Village Hall and addressing other financial needs and regulatory interests of the village. E.O. Sullivan includes an impressive team of Ed Sullivan, Dan Schoman, and Corin Bradley. The team demonstrated in their proposal and interview a clear understanding of the village's needs and how to best position the village for lobbying efforts. The selection committee included myself, Assistant Village Administrator Hydorn, Police Chief Weitzel, Finance Director Sullivan, and our Corporation Counsel, who recommended E.O. Sullivan LLC as to be chosen to provide lobbyist services for the village. This resolution will authorize an agreement with E.O. Sullivan to perform this for the village.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept Resolution 25-81 as presented.
Second.
Motion made by trustee White, seconded by, or made by trustee Travis, seconded by trustee White. Any questions, clarifications? No. Anything? Okay, please call the vote.
Trustee Minks.
Aye.
Trustee Phil.
Aye.
Trustee Travis.
Aye.
Trustee White.
Aye.
Trustee Khan.
Aye.
Resolution 25-81 passes 5-0, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And then the only general item I will say is that as a reminder for the public, the village's second meeting in December has been canceled, and additionally, the village's administrative offices will be closed on December 25th, 2025, and January 1st, 2026. And with that, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Corporation Counsel? Reports by trustees, trustee Khan.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a second reading for ordinance 25-37 that was introduced on November 25th, 2025. And this ordinance is authorizing an amendment to the Village of Morton Grove 2025 adopted budget. This ordinance is to amend the adopted 2025 budget to include the expenditure for architectural fees for the new Village Hall and police station and to take advantage of grant funds for additional parkway trees. Pursuant to Ordinance 24-21, the budget for calendar year 2025 was adopted by the Board of Trustees on November 27, 2024. I think that's a typo. That should be 2025. The budget represents an estimate of revenues available in recommended expenditures for the village. Title I, Chapter 9D, Section 6 of the Municipal Code allows the adopted budget to be amended by a vote of 2/3 of the corporate authorities. The village purchased property for the new village hall and police station after the 2025 budget was passed. Architectural services were needed to draft plans for the remodel and an addition to the new village facilities. These costs were dependent on the purchase of the property, which was not certain at the time the budget was passed. The village also has become aware of grant opportunities to reimburse the village for the purchase of additional parkway trees. So this ordinance will approve an amendment to the 2025 adopted budget to reflect these 2025 expenditures. And I hereby make a motion to approve the ordinance as presented.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Khan, seconded by trustee Minks. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Trustee Thill?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Ordinance 25-37 passes 5-0, Your Honor.
And that's the end of my formal report, but I just want to add a thank you to the Public Works for the amazing work that they did during the snowstorm that we had. I thought our village exceeded the expectations. Honestly, and my private practice is in Mount Prospect, and I always compare Morton Grove with that suburb, and I thought you did an outstanding job. So thank you so much for your service. And that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Minks?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have no formal report. I'd like to echo Trustee Khan's comments. The Public Works here has always been above and beyond, and we thank you for everything that you do. My second comment comes to the next part of my heartfelt things is Morton Grove Days had their final event for the Santa Comes to Town this past weekend. And it was another successful event. We had somewhere in the neighborhood of 325 children come through for prizes and to see Santa Claus over the 2.5 hours that Santa sat at Prairie View, and that was preceded by Santa driving around town, dropping off specially marked suckers so they could get those prizes. And we want to thank all of our staff, our partners, which is the village, the Morton Grove Days Commission, and the Morton Grove Park District, and all the volunteers that help with the suckers and stuff to make this event possible. I'd like to wish everyone happy holidays, to everyone who is present this evening and who may be watching on TV. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Kwanzaa. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Trustee Sheba's not here, but trustee White, you'll be reporting for him?
Yes. So tonight, in absence of trustee Sheba, I have an ordinance and a resolution. Ordinance 2539, this is amending, this is a first read, amending Title VII entitled Public Property and Utilities, Chapter 2 entitled Tree Preservation of the Village of Morton Grove. The Village of Morton Grove recognizes the services and the functions that trees provide as a collective asset to the Morton Grove community. In March of '25, the village was awarded a grant from the Chicago Region of Trees Initiative at the Morton Arboretum to assist with the street tree plantings through the community. In accepting the grant, the village agreed to revise the village's tree preservation code to meet the organization's requirements. The proposed text amendments are procedural in nature and have been approved by the Morton Arboretum and to serve further strengthen our village's ordinance. So no action on this tonight.
Chuck, may I just ask real quick? Chuck, could you give a quick summary on how that strengthens our tree protections?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. So the ordinance, which was done in concert with Morton Grove Arboretum, provides us some flexibility. It allows for administratively the Public Works Director to kind of implement the program itself. I think the biggest enhancement would be that it actually strengthens the language for contractors. We've had good language in our existing code for contractors, but this has very specific guidance for contractors that are going to be working on trees, and specifically when contractors are touching public trees, there needs to be a certified arborist that's involved in the process. So it is something that will help both us and the community by having those structures added to our ordinance. So we think it's a very good addition and will help us going forward.
Thank you.
Okay. And next I have Resolution 2582. This is authorizing a contractual agreement with Dell Incorporated to renew the Microsoft Enterprise Agreement for Microsoft software licensing for operating and productivity software for the village staff and users. The enterprise agreement renewal includes an annual maintenance fee for updates and upgrades and license costs. The payment covers the license and maintenance period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026. And the resolution is prepared before the expiration date for business continuity. The 2026 licensing and software maintenance expense is $63,249.05. And these funds are from the Information Technology Division fiscal year 2026 and is allocated for this agreement. I move to accept this resolution 2582 as presented.
Second.
Motion made by trustee White, seconded by trustee Thill. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Thill?
Aye.
Resolution 25-82 passes 5-0, Your Honor.
Thank you.
That's the end of the report.
Okay, trustee Thill.
Yes, Your Honor, I have a couple of resolutions. I have Resolution 2583. It's authorizing a contract with Advanced Tree Care Incorporated of Lincolnshire, Illinois, for the 2026 tree trimming program. The village is divided into 6 zones, so every 6 years, your neighborhood will have the trees trimmed. The annual tree trimming program is necessary to maintain the health and the appearance of the village's tree canopy and to maintain a safe passage for public traveling beneath trees in the village of Morton Grove. This resolution will authorize a contract with Advanced Tree Care Incorporated of Lincolnshire, Illinois, for the 2026 tree trimming program. I move we accept Resolution 2583.
Second?
Motion made by trustee Thill, seconded by trustee Travis. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Trustee White?
Aye.
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Thill?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Resolution 25-83 passes 5-0, Your Honor.
I have Resolution 2584. It's authorizing the appropriation of 2026 motor fuel tax funds for the maintenance of the streets and highways in Morton Grove. I move we move Resolution 2586.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Thill, seconded by trustee Minks. It's resolution 25-84. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Thill?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
Resolution 25-84 passes 5-0, Your Honor.
I have a couple of comments, if I may.
Yes.
I'm not going to talk about the great snow plowing our village does, because everybody else has talked about it. But what I am going to suggest is when the plows come through the first time and they hit the other side of the street, if you're parked on this side, move your car to the other side. It makes it easier for the public, and it's a safety hazard also. And also, I'd like to congratulate the Park District. They did an outstanding job at the gazebo, as usual, and it really brings the spirit of Christmas, and I appreciate that. And I hope over the holidays, whether you celebrate Christmas or not, you have a safe holiday, and keep your chin up things will improve. End of my report.
Thank you. Trustee Travis?
I have no formal report, but I am going to mention the snowplow. I do appreciate and I admire the snowplow drivers, especially when people on the snow route do not remove their cars from the snow route. So it was interesting to watch the plows drive down and maneuver around various cars. So I appreciate them. Thank you very much. And I want to say happy holidays to everyone and hope that everyone has a happy and healthy new year. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee White?
Yes, I have four ordinances tonight. First one is ordinance 25-40. It's amending Title 12 entitled Unified Development Code, Chapter 3 entitled Regulation of Specific Uses in All Zoning Districts to establish Section 12-3-9 of the Municipal Code of the Village of Morton Grove to regulate the installation and use of solar energy collection systems. A little background on this, the Village of Morton Grove, who's the applicant, submitted a complete application to the Plan Commission under case PC 25-04 requesting text amendments to Chapter 12-3 of Title 12 to regulate installation and use of solar energy collection systems. On November 18th of 2025, the applicant appeared before the Plan Commission to request approval. Following the Plan Commission, there was some input received from previous meetings. Language was added and to allow to connect solar energy collection systems to obtain special use permits to sell energy for off-use site. The revised text amendments were unanimously approved by the Plan Commission. I move to accept ordinance 25-40 as presented.
This is a first read,
First
so we
read.
don't have to do that.
Okay.
Thank you. They're all first reads.
All right, next I have ordinance 25-41, approving a special text permit to authorize the expansion and modification of an existing school at the property commonly known as 9000 Belfort Avenue in Morton Grove. A little background on this, DLA Architects, on behalf of Golf School, the applicant requested a special use permit for the expansion of existing Hines Elementary School at 9000 Belfort. That's the first read, so. Next ordinance is 25-42. This is approving a preliminary plat of subdivision and special use permit with associated waivers for a 60-unit mixed-use development on property commonly known as 8500 to 8550 Lehigh Avenue and a .531 acre portion of the Chestnut Street right-of-way. Petition for vacation in Morton Grove, Illinois. First read.
Any questions or anything on this one at this point? I think we're actually going to ask to see if, this is the one for the applicant too, possibly if they wouldn't mind. Would the applicant mind just responding at the podium to some of the resident comments, please?
Madam President, members of the Village Board, my name is Bernard Citron. I'm with the law firm of Thompson Coburn. I represent the applicant here today. We've been working with staff very extensively to bring the project that's in front of you for today and hopefully to be voted on at the next board meeting. With me, Joe Masek, who is one of the designers for the project, and he's going to answer some of these questions in more detail. Basically, we understand what's being said or asked of us by Morton House. Really, the decision on this is more from the village's standpoint than our decision. The wall is on the property that we're trying to purchase from the village. So, and to be honest with you, we've looked at it, and there are some spots that are not very perfect. So we have to look at whether or not it's really is still structurally sound, that wall, because there's some spots that would need work otherwise. But we'll figure out how to work with the village if the village chooses to require that. With that, I would ask Joe to answer some of the other issues in more detail. And by the way, this is the first time I've been in the front of this village board when I live in this town. So I'm a resident in Morton Grove. I moved in about 3 years ago, proceeded to break the rules 1 week after moving in because I started working on my house without a permit. I hate to admit that, but I did get a permit.
We caught you, I hope.
Went through the house, it was done properly, but I got talked into something, but I'm here. And to be honest with you, I commend the village on something else. It was an unfortunate situation with our nephew who got transported to Lutheran General by Morton Grove's ambulances. He's unfortunately still in the hospital for about 2 months, and we really don't know what's going to happen. But the police were there at the accident, and it occurred like 5 minutes from my house, and the police were excellent, very kind, very caring. So I would commend, as a resident, I commend the police and the fire department for their care in doing this. And with that, Joe?
Thank you, Bernie. Joe Mashek, BSP Design, 4225 Lee Street, Skokie. And thank you very much for your letter, Dr. Beer. Meyer. I kept wanting to call it Meyer when I saw it written, but it's Meir. So thank you for that. But really appreciated the letter. And Ms. Corelli, thank you very much for coming out and your concern. We're first thing is we want to be good neighbors, not only to the downtown and the Lehigh corridor, but also our immediate neighbors, Morton House. And so it was really good to take a look at the letter and see that we can comply. Native plantings, we promised the Appearance Commission and Plan Commission we'd swap out the ginkgo trees. We'll swap them out with chinkapin oaks, weigelias for aronias, spireas for fothergillas, the lilacs for, even though I'm from Lombard originally, the lilacs for viburnums. And as far as the lighting goes, we're in item M, I think it is, in the staff report. We will comply completely with the additional shielding to reduce the amount of light trespass, not only because of the Forest Preserve, but because of the Morton House. And we've got such a unique site with the train station across the street and a Forest Preserve right behind us. This is going to be an extremely successful development. Very unique site. Really appreciate the ability to have the opportunity to have a vision for it. And we will, as Bernie said, we'll work with staff. We need to make sure that the structure of the existing wall is in good shape. We do have to remove part of it because of public safety. We have to provide a fire access to this and remove a portion of it. Plus, with the amount of construction that's going to happen on site, we just want to make sure that the wall is going to be stable so that it doesn't come down and fall on cars or people. As far as security goes, we are, back to lighting, we are providing a 3-foot board-on-board fence to completely screen headlights from the Forest Preserve at the west end of the parking lot. What we'd like to do is just include if we can save the wall, do a board-on-board fence that would match that, but then also completely shield headlights, but would match that as well on the north side to make sure that there's no cut-through pedestrian traffic through the Morton House site. So.
Well, this is excellent. Thank you. It sounds like we'll be able to come to a good agreement. You're obviously showing you're already a good neighbor. We really appreciate that, and we'll all work together for a very successful project. So we thank you for your time and coming up on no notice and addressing all of that. So thank you.
You're welcome. And thank
John, you have a
I'd
question?
like to ask a question. Sure. Do you have any potential start date and completion date?
We've got the general contractor here. He'll tell you tomorrow.
Well, we need to approve it first, John.
But we're on a fast track here. We want to make sure that we can, as soon as we get approvals, we can get started.
Thank you very much.
Assuming we can get this approved in a relatively rapid time period. Again, we hope to be in front of you at the January meeting. We still have to work with staff on the redevelopment agreement. After that point, we'll submit for permits and start that process because it does take some time. But we hope to start sometime in spring. That's as quickly as we can do it. And completion about a year?
16 months.
16 months.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thank you all. All right.
Okay, and my last ordinance is 25-43. This is approving a plat of vacation of a portion of the Chestnut Street right-of-way located directly west of Lehigh Avenue and measuring approximately .531 acres in Morton Grove. This again is first read.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on this one? Okay. Anything else, Keith? Trustee White?
Nope, that's the end of my report. I just want to wish everybody happy holidays and a safe new year.
Thank you. Presentation of warrants, Trustee Khan?
Thank you, Your Honor. Again, I'd like to present a warrant register for December 9, 2025, in the amount of $805,454.25. And I hereby make a motion to approve the warrant register as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Trustee Khan, seconded by Trustee Thill. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Thill?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
The December 9th, 2025 warrants pass as presented, 5-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any other business? There is no other business. Residents' comments. Just a reminder, we have 4 minutes, and this first person is Clara Noy. Sorry if that's not.
Hi to you all. Thank you for allowing us a presence in public comment today. My name is Clara. I live on Cali Avenue. I would like to specifically address the notes in the village's Know Your Rights webpage, wherein people are directed to call 911 if we witness suspicious or unsafe activity in our village. It is noted that the Morton Grove PD will respond to reports involving individuals claiming to be federal agents, just as it would to any other incident. The next bullet point is where we run into problems. It reads, if federal agents are still present, officers, while not able to intervene in civil immigration enforcement activities, will document the incident. This is not a sufficient response to the issue at hand, and also not what the Trust Act says. The Trust Act states police cannot participate, support, or assist with immigration enforcement operations. The last bullet point further up on the village's website, which reads, the police may not obstruct federal law enforcement agents in performance of their immigration enforcement activities, is not language that is listed in the Trust Act. The crux of the matter is this. ICE agents are frequently acting outside the law. Police are absolutely required to stop law breaking, such as kidnapping, regardless of who is doing it, or they become accessories to the crime. They should be trained to spot the difference between the invalid monopoly money warrants ICE is often using and a valid signed judicial warrant. When ICE is acting outside the law, our police should be empowered to stop them, not just document the event. It is critical for us to recognize that Trump's deportation numbers are actually lower than his predecessors, who managed to use due process and procedures that weren't designed to terrorize the populace. This increased usage of terrorist tactics by Trump's regime, while being less effective in detaining undocumented residents, proves that the cruelty is the point, as is to normalize the use of military force against our populace. This is the same president who is calling anyone who speaks against his fascist regime a terrorist and saying our government can kill whoever they dub a terrorist, as was seen on the fishing boat off the coast of Venezuela. We need to accept that we are in a life or death battle for the ideals of this nation. And in such a battle, we expect our elected officials to be at the forefront. So in effect, you have 3 choices: lead, follow, or get the heck out of the way. Real leaders do not kowtow to cruelty out of fear. Regardless of your personal leanings, if you are unwilling or incapable of leading in the way we need, you'll have to manage your expectations about the longevity of your elected positions. There are plenty of people in our village who will not allow the milquetoast response from the village board to the despotic terror tactics of the regime in charge to stand in perpetuity. We are paying attention, and now that you know better, we expect that you'll do better. Thanks for your time. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Andrea Quartz?
I wanted to speak today to specifically address the board's response to what we have outlined in our request for protecting the most vulnerable members of our community from immigration enforcers. I've never much paid attention to village-level government before. I do my research when it's election season and vote accordingly, but that's where my involvement ended. Until a few months ago, when I and many of my fellow residents began speaking up. Our requests have been reasonable and well thought out. We have been peaceful, doing things the right way. But other than a few small steps and some feedback from Mayor Whitko, it has felt like talking to a brick wall. In a time where so many feel powerless against the federal government, it feels that much more hopeless when our village government also fails to help. I don't mean that we should have all of our asks immediately granted. That would be unreasonable. But it is reasonable to expect a dialogue. I have emailed every one of you, Trustees Minks and White, several times. I have asked questions and requested to learn more, to understand how you work with the community. I have received almost no response. I'll echo what Caroline said at the last meeting in regards to the village violations of the Open Meetings Act. Do better. The residents who elected you demand it.
Thank you. Janice Cha?
Hi, my name is Janice Cha. Thank you, everybody. So this is in regards to the signage. So first off, I want to say thank you for, making progress on that area, and the signage in regards to prohibiting ICE agents from using village-owned property. I would like to ask the village to post the signage a little bit more specific. Make it, let me start again. I'm asking the village to post signage on village-owned property, be it temporary or permanent, that includes language that specifically prohibits civil immigration enforcement activity on village property. This is what our neighboring suburbs have done, and this is what we had asked for in previous meetings. The signs that have been currently ordered by the village, we feel, are insufficient for the purpose that we requested. These signs ordered by the village omit any reference to federal immigration enforcement and do not provide sufficient notice to federal immigration enforcement agents. So for the record, I would like to submit a written statement to the board giving these and other reasons for why signage must include specific language that the residents have requested from the village. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeremy Paston?
So I had actually planned on coming up here talking about two things tonight, but I guess I got a third because I was so busy filling out, making sure that my handwriting was legible with the pink highlighter at the podium that I marked the wrong box on my form. So my third one, can we get some pens up there, please?
Sure.
All right, I'll be brief today. I've spoken in this forum at the past couple of meetings, and if I haven't been able to clearly communicate my concerns, another speech like my last one's is unlikely to change that. I noticed today that there was nothing on the agenda regarding the ongoing immigration enforcement activities, which was pretty disheartening. It would be easy to jump to the conclusion that members of this panel are doing the minimum required to placate myself and the numerous others who have spoken here recently. However, I'm going to extend the benefit of the doubt to you all, and I assume that any action or inaction that may have come from this group is well-intentioned and that there are concerns at play that we just aren't privy to. While I understand the reasoning behind the structure to these sorts of proceedings, it can create a disconnect. Myself and others like me have been pretty clear in our desires, but I feel that we're limited by the format here. I'm sure that there's common ground for us to meet on, but I don't see how it can be found currently. I believe that you all have your reasons for handling things the way that you have, but they aren't being made clear, at least not publicly. I know that there are several organized groups that have had representatives speak tonight and previously, and maybe they've been given some response. However, I'm not affiliated with any such groups, and I'm still pretty in the dark regarding this body's priorities and motives. And I expect that I'm not alone there. I would propose opening some sort of a dialogue so that all may express themselves in a cooperative and constructive manner. Something like a town hall type meeting would give such an opportunity. We could move beyond the fairly rigid structure of a formal meeting and work together to better understand where each is coming from. If it was well moderated and narrowly focused, I think that such a dialogue could help bridge the gap, or at least help us in understanding your motivations. I, for one, am curious and open to a constructive conversation, and I hope that you'll consider this proposal, and I look forward to such an opportunity. My second issue that I wanted to talk about, I don't know if this is actually a thing or not. I've heard that rumors that the alley at Fernald will be closed off by the new police station at the end. If that's true, I would like to voice against it as somebody who uses that alley on a daily basis. Getting out that side is very convenient, especially for when I've had large deliveries that have had trucks coming in. They refuse to back around the corner by the School for Jerusalem Lutheran. So the only way they'll get in and out is through that end because there's no turn there. So if that can be taken into consideration, if there is such a plan, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that didn't sign up that would like to speak? Please, go ahead.
Sorry, I was at my son's Christmas recital. So I didn't
That's
get a chance
okay.
to sign
Can you
up.
just state your name, please?
Sure. So thank you for hearing me. My name is Mike Baker. I own 6427 Elm down here at the end of Elm, which butts up to the Forest Preserve. I spoke last time. I know some of you weren't here. But basically what is going on is that I have a gravel road that is on the Forest Preserve side that basically butts up to my property. And what's happening is the Forest Preserve has sent a letter through the village to me that says that I have to, they're basically gonna put up a fence that blocks me from accessing the driveway in the back of my property. So in essence, what the village is saying is that I have to build a driveway on the east side. And I'm hearing of the tree conservation program for the first time, and I find it interesting that the village is telling me I have to cut down a 40-foot pine tree when you're having this conservation for trees going on. This fence would also stop the plow that goes to the end of the road from plowing all the snow to the end of the road. That's where they go. They go to the end of the road into the Forest Preserve to push all that snow from all the parking spots for the train, which has got to be at least 50 spots, plus all the residents who live on the south side of the road. There's probably about, 10 structures or so where multiple cars are parking to park on the sidewalk. I don't really know why the reason is. I suspect it's just because, they want me and my residents to stop using the road, even though the previous owner who owned it for 50 years had access and was granted use of that road without really any problems, or at least that's what I was told. If I'm forced to do this, cut down the tree, level the sidewalk, level the curbs, level the gutters, I don't know what the expenses are going to be for this. I'm looking into that. But what it does is the entrances and exits for 2 of the units of this 3-unit building are on that side. There are toddlers there, there are infants there. At any given moment, if any of them walk out and there's a 9-foot driveway, which, by the way, there's only room for that space, they could get hit by a car. And I really, not only do I don't want that, but I cannot take on that liability. It's been on my mind a lot. I've been discussing this with Chuck. I do appreciate everything Chuck has done. He's told me he's worked on this for several hours. He says the only solution is the east side driveway. I understand where he's coming from. I've also discussed this with Commissioner Josina Morita. She's helping me with the Cook County Forest Preserves. They want to put this in on January 15th or shortly thereafter. I'm sure the weather will not allow that. But she's going to try and get it delayed to a more reasonable time, maybe in spring, where I'll have actually time to put this driveway in, if that's what's going to happen. I've filed several FOIA requests for which I've only received one survey I've asked for multiple things. I can't understand how the village only has one survey over 50 years for which I've asked for multiple documents. I'm still waiting to hear on some, so that is what's going on there. Basically, what I'm asking for from the village is help. I don't understand. I own 8 feet 8 inches, and the village is telling me I need 9. So I need a 4-inch variance or a 4-inch easement to build a driveway on the west side, which would save everyone time, money, and it would protect all my residents who live in that building from ever, God forbid, getting hit by a car going into the drive. Outside of that, I plead with the board to help me here. We have conservation, plowing, all these things have come up tonight. They affect me. They affect my tenants. You say it's for private use. If I get this, it's for the use of 10 people with 6 cars. That's pretty public to me. I know Chuck has said no, there's nothing he can do, and I understand there is nothing he can do. It's the forest preserves land to a point, but it's been used for 100 years. 100 years this road has been gravelled and maintained by the village. What happens if there's a fire and this gate is up? And is the fire department going to knock the gate down? I've talked to ComEd. Supposedly I have to talk to AT&T, Comcast, all these people who have license to put those telephone poles and their communication wires all there. They would all have to have access to this gate. I don't understand the logistics of this. The people I've talked to have said they don't even know that the Forest Preserve is doing this.
I'm so sorry, you're over time. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
But are you continuing to work with Chuck or Cook County? I'm not sure where it's at right now.
I have only been helped by Cook County. Not to say I haven't been helped by Chuck. Chuck just says his hands are tied. There's really nothing he can do because it's the Forest Preserve's land.
Okay, well, we'll connect with you after, or maybe follow up with Chuck.
We did this last week. I can't get on the agenda because it's not a village.
Correct. So yeah.
Okay.
We'll talk and try to find.
Well, I'm just letting you know
to-
now, Mayor, I really appreciate it.
Yes.
My solution is that I'm going to have to sell the property because I can't take on the liability. I can't be a member of Morton Grove anymore. I'm a real estate agent too, so I have clients that live in Morton Grove that love it. I love it. I want to retire in this property one day, but
I understand. I hear you.
it's not going to happen. So.
Okay, we'll connect after this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else with comments? Go ahead. Oh, sorry.
There's 2.
Okay. Can you have to go up to the, yeah.
I just have a quick thing to say because we've been talking about the ambulance service. This July, I fell and cracked my head at the condominiums, and the fire department and the police department and the ambulance, they were there instantly and took excellent care of me. So I just have this is the first time I've had an opportunity to say this out loud, and I really am so thankful that I live here. That's all.
Thank you. Hi, please state your name.
My name is Esmeralda Hopwood. I've lived in Morton Grove for the last 6 years. I just kind of want to continue speaking about the disappointment I felt and the lack of the ICE and continued immigration discussions that many people have been coming up here to speak about. Recently, our property taxes have increased a lot as a lot of our other neighbors. And so my husband and I have had to start having discussions about whether or not we want to continue living in Morton Grove. What is the return on investment? I love living here. I love the little community. I love the Morton Grove Library so much. My son has so many friends. I don't want to move, but the perceived lack of doing more than what are perceived things keeping us back from being able to protect our community, especially given the examples from Skokie, Niles, and Evanston actually doing something, is really weighing on us, and it makes us not want to live here anymore. So I'm sure my family is not the only one considering that. Another note is that I'm part of a lot of Morton Grove Facebook groups, and I've seen an increase in comments complaining about Muslim companies, restaurants, organizations moving into the community. And I didn't used to see those as much publicly on Facebook. Sure, they're under anonymous because they are cowards, but the lack of conversation is emboldening people, and I don't think that's fair to our neighbors. So that's it.
Thank you. Anybody else? I do want to say, I certainly hope you stay, and you mentioned the word perceived, and Jeremy, you mentioned minimum requirements. So I do want to kind of clarify a few things, just to make sure you understand that we have taken 6 steps toward getting that word out, to letting people know. And I got to say, Andrea, I see you're not pleased with me talking right now, but you're not my audience. My audience are the people that are home, that are scared to come out, that are hearing that, the Morton Grove's not safe, or we're not doing enough to keep people safe. Well, we've provided a confidential, dedicated line to our social worker so that those people can call and say, I can't leave my house to take my child to school, or I'm scared, I can't leave to get groceries. And we're providing resources for those people, and not another municipality has done that. We've also are putting up the signs to show what village properties are located, which our operational facilities are, and it says for village business only, plain, period, stop. That's all it needs to say. But it does point to, without getting into putting all of the laws on there, it points to the state and local laws. We feel that we are absolutely covering our residents that are most in need. We are protecting them. We have resources. We've sent all the resources out to our religious institutions for them to reach out to their people. We're working with our township. I've also sent, I saw you react poorly last time I mentioned, Andrea, where I wrote letters to our federal representatives, but that's truly the only way we're going to get anywhere. And I do feel like some people are confused. Jeremy, I think you're looking for board action on some of this, but what we did was reinforce how our police work with the Trust Act and other acts, and also within our own code, as well as our personnel policy. None of this needs to be in an ordinance, because if our staff stepped out of line or asked somebody their status, we're not going to ticket them and bring them to adjudication. That's not the right mechanism for managing staff. So what we've done is we've reclaimed everything that's already in our personnel policy, our police code. We're exclaiming it for TV, for the minutes, for people that are coming to us to hear or see or sit here. I've met with many small different groups, Jeremy, to your point, like people have met with me. I've gone through this. I've handed our personnel policy to them so that they can look at it. They've been very pleased with it. So I feel like maybe the disconnect is that you're expecting a formal board action with an ordinance or a resolution, but the way our code is set up and our personnel policy, we don't need that. After the last meeting, when I explained all of this, it was already enacted. It's done. We don't have to go through the first read, wait 2 weeks, go through the second read. It's already done. And so I hope that clears up something, and hope people realize we're not doing nothing. We've taken 6 specific steps, and I feel like we are truly representing the most needy and vulnerable in our community, and I want everyone to feel safe, and I want them to understand that we care, and we're doing what we can to make people feel safe and cared for, and giving real resources to people who actually need it. And we feel we're doing a great job, and I've heard from, there were 72 people here after the first meeting. There's a few less now, and I'm happy to have this conversation every meeting if that's what it takes, but I feel like the people that are hearing and listening and actually getting the information are feeling confident that we are also doing our best. So I just wanted to say that and hopefully clarify something so we don't lose good residents like you, Esmeralda. And so another thing, we're only 12% of your property tax. I just want to say that. So with that, anything else? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made by trustee Mink, seconded by trustee Travis. All in favor?
Aye.